Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, September 16th, and I'm your host, Kristen McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This week on Norwood News, retired detective Rich Giacopo visits the NCM studios, and NHS drama students perform Grease. But first, Norwood celebrated Norwood Day last weekend, and it was a huge success. The Recreation Department kicked it off on Friday night with Norwood Day fireworks at the Coakley Middle School.
So this is the kickoff to our Norwood Day 2022. We're at Coakley Middle School. We are having roaming railroad. We have 3 inflatables, both of which we couldn't have last year during COVID, so we're excited that those are back. We have Hawaiian Ice, we have a DJ, youth football and cheer is selling hot dogs and burgers, and to cap things off, we'll have fireworks at the end of the night, which are presented by and sponsored by David Spiegel, which is a huge shout out to David for that. It's hard to keep track between COVID and I think we had a hurricane in there, but I believe this is the 19th year. It's really hard to gauge. This is the first year we've had roaming railroad and inflatables back since the pandemic, but pre-COVID, we probably have anywhere between 6,000 and 8,000 people. This year in particular, I'm happy that everybody seems to be wanting to get out and get back. That is, seeing the kids run around and the families here, it's just a fun, free community event, and it's just great to see everybody together again and coming together for Norwood Day.
With thousands on Washington Street and the town common, it's safe to say that Norwood Day is still one of the town's most popular events. This year's Ann Lyden Volunteer of the Year is Eileen Hickey. Eileen recently retired from the Treasurer's Office at Town Hall. Not far from the common, Congressman Stephen Lynch spoke about his first experience in Norwood with Your Town at Work host Jerry Slater.
But look, it's an honor for me to represent Norwood. I love Norwood. I announced my candidacy from the gazebo on Norwood Common. It'll be 22 years now. My daughter was in my arms. Now she's, taller than me. But I chose Norwood because it's a perfect reflection of what's best about America, right? You care about your seniors, you care about your kids, you take care of your veterans, the elderly. It's everything we would hope in a town. So I know we have our challenges, but I think we have so much good that is in Norwood, and the people here are just so wonderful. They've adopted me, and and I love them back.
For people having a good job, enjoying themselves. Like, hey, if you're not enjoying yourself, what you doing here? You feel me? Like, we out here outside.
A new addition to Norwood Day, Castle Island Brewing, hosted a beer tasting on the Common. The event allowed residents of legal age to sample the offerings at the local brewery. This may be a fan favorite to return next year. We'll be right back with retired Norwood Police Detective Rich Giacopo, who sits down with Jack McCarthy to raise awareness for people battling substance abuse disorders on a powerful episode of Norwood Digest.
The Morrill Memorial Library offers a variety of free programs throughout the year. During the month of September, the library will be hosting several events open to residents. Registration may be required ahead of time. On Monday, September 19th, join author Joshua Prager as he discusses his book, The Family Row. The event will be moderated by Radio Boston's Tiziana Deering, and this event will be virtual. Registration is required. On Tuesday, September 20th at 7 p.m., join the Fall 2022 Sustainability Series, Drought Tolerant Gardening, virtually on Zoom. The event will be presented by Kristen Nicholson of Blue Stem Natives. On Thursday, September 22nd, the Morrill Memorial Library is teaming up with Ashland Library and the Senior Center to bring you author David Crew. Crew will be part of a virtual author talk to discuss his book, The Building of Route 128, The Road We Love to Hate. This will be a virtual event, and registration is required. In the Simone Room on Saturday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there will be a stash share hosted by Sustainability and Together Yes. Monday, September 26th at 7 p.m. is a virtual series, Getting Started in Genealogy, presented by genealogist Ann Lothers. This event is on Zoom and registration is required. The genealogy doesn't stop there, because on Thursday, September 29th, genealogical researcher Michael Brophy continues the virtual series with Irish genealogy databases at 7 p.m. Registration is also required for this event. The Morrill Memorial Library is an important resource for the town of Norwood. To learn more about the programs the library offers, visit their website at norwoodlibrary.org or give them a call at 781-769-0200.
Earlier this week, Jack McCarthy interviewed retired NPD detective Rich Giacoppo. Rich is the president of Ricky Inc., a nonprofit setup in honor of his son Ricky, who passed away in 2019 of an overdose. Through the loss of their son, Rich and his wife are working hard to help people that also have substance use disorders.
It really does, because what happened with us is that once we came out and made it public, and of course people are sympathizing with our situation, and people want to talk to us. I can't even tell you how many people quietly said to me, my nephew is suffering, and so what we try to do is just say, can I help you with some resources, because my wife and I have really gone very hard and strong to find resources and to provide resources and to do things to help other people. And getting back to the point, there's been so many people whose lives have been affected by this, by drugs. Right. Whether it's alcohol, drugs, gambling, or whatever the formerly known addiction is, or the substance use disorder. There's so many people that came forward, and I think it kind of helped them break that stigma of maybe I shouldn't hide behind this, dirty little secret, so to speak. Right. So it helps people every day.
Yeah, and I think the more people learn about it, the more their senses, I guess, are aroused to say, we got to do something about this. We have to have resources. We have to do more. Yes. And amazingly, your family has gone from a place of tragedy and grief to doing that, to helping people. So let's talk a little bit about the backpacks and that whole thing.
Okay, so we do fundraising, and I want to plug my auction later. There's an auction.
I got that.
A third auction is coming up in October, and I hope everybody that watches this will participate. It's real easy, but when we do fundraising, what we do is we collect the monies, we deposit it in the bank, and then we go out. My wife and I, we purchase backpacks and all of the things that we want to put in it. And we have programs we go to. We have street outreach. We do things in Boston. We do things in Portland, Maine. And we go to detoxes. We go to sober homes. We do street outreach. I know, people, look at the horrible, horrible situation down in Mass and Cass. And,
it's in the news again today.
I didn't hear that, but we can share that later. It's a horrible situation, and I call it the Wild West, to be honest with you. But my wife and I go down there, and we've taken food down there and just opened up our car and say, there's food, take it. We deliver the backpacks, we go down and do resources. And we don't do it all the time, but we've done it 4 or 5 times in the past year or so, and that community needs help. And politicians are great, and they talk a lot, and sometimes they can provide services, but when you get in the trenches and you see what is going on, you can see how appalling and how dangerous it is. Right. So getting back to the backpacks, we have given out. Over the past 2 years, we've given out over 1,800 backpacks. Wow. Yeah. And we figured out that it costs approximately between $50 and $60 to $65 a backpack.
If you know someone with a substance use disorder or would like to become involved with Ricky Inc., visit their website at rickyinc.org. And now we're going to toss it over to Ron Marshalsea with sports.
I'm Ron Marshalsea, and Mustang Fall Sports is in full swing. But before we begin, we want you to know that each week will feature a team on the screen behind me. This week it is the varsity field hockey team. So now, let's get into it. The field hockey team is coached by Allison Dolliner. She is a special ed teacher at CMS, and they are 3-0-1 with a tie against Hopkinton and wins against Ashland, Medfield, and Holliston. Scoring the winning goal against Holliston was senior Caroline Forrest. The golf team is coached by Chuck Allen and is 3-4. In Tuesday's win against Weymouth, the low scores were Zach Badger with a 35 and Kevin Sopel with a 38. And in Wednesday's home win against Medway, the low scores again were Kevin Sopel with a 40 and Sean Dittmeyer with a 38. The girls volleyball team is coached by CMS health and wellness teacher Paul Nimblett and had an exciting opening win against Hopkinton. They were the reigning D2 state champions and were on a 25-game winning streak. The team is currently 1-3. The football team is coached by Manny Lopes, and they traveled to Stoughton and lost to the Black Knights 28-13. Scoring both touchdowns for the Mustangs was sophomore Jack Dwyer. And Friday, the team heads to the Cape to play the Falmouth Clippers. Boys cross country had a big home opener win against Dedham, 15-50, the low-score wins. Coached by NHS Vice Principal Matt Curran, the team lost on Wednesday in Hopkinton, making their record 1-1. But the bright spot was senior Dylan Hamway coming in second. The girls cross-country team is coached by elementary wellness teacher Amy Worcester and is 0-2 with losses to Dedham and Hopkinton. Boys soccer is coached by Tom Healy and is currently 0-2 on the season with losses to Hopkinton and Ashland. Scoring goals for the Mustangs were seniors Michael Flynn and Seledson Diaz Segundo. The girls soccer team is coached by Kim Brinklow and they are also 0-2 with losses to Ashland and Medfield. In the Medfield game, congrats to Michaela Reen, who scored the first goal of her career. And finally, let's go behind the high school to check the progress of the track and field. Here's footage that was shot on Thursday, and as you can see, they are spraying the track surface. Once this is finished and dry, the lines on the track will be painted. NCM is getting ready to produce some night games this fall, and we know there will be a lot of Mustang sports fans in the stands. Norwood News will be right back after this break.
Hello, Katie Seastead here from the Recreation Department.
And Brian Boudreau, Norwood Community Media.
Happy birthday, Norwood! Number 1!
In government, this week the Board of Health held its first meeting since June. The board was introduced to the Health Department's new Assistant Director, Abigail Atkins. Atkins has an extensive history in public health and comes to Norwood from the town of Brookline. The Board of Health received updates on summer activities from the Environmental Health Inspector. The Board of Health will meet again on October 24th. Monday night's Planning Board meeting began with a discussion of a master plan for the town. Selectman Bob Donnelly spoke to why a master plan is important for the town.
And sort of putting forward the future vision of what we would like the town to look at from a land use perspective. I'm only going to speak to land use, but as Paul indicated, there are a number of other aspects of a master plan that go beyond land use that are also beneficial. But I really like the process of engaging and collecting input from residents regarding what we desire for future use. I just think at this point in time, when a developer expresses interest in land development now, they are the ones that are telling us what they want to do. And we don't really have the input from the community to engage them in discussion of whether or not what they want to do is consistent with our vision.
A discussion of the cost and time necessary to complete a master plan followed, given the number of priorities facing the planning department. The planning department, town manager, and board will meet again to discuss priorities and how a master plan would fit in. The board then began a discussion of the finalized guidance from the MBTA on multi-family zoning. Now that it's finalized, the planning department can move forward to identify parcels that could be rezoned to meet these new requirements. The planning department requested that there be a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen and the planning board to discuss not only the master plan, but also how they would like to move forward with the MBTA multifamily zoning district. The planning board meets again on Monday, October 3rd. At Tuesday's Board of Selectmen meeting, 2 public hearings were held with National Grid. Both public hearings were requests from National Grid to open up Broadway to East Hoyle and Guild Street to Broadway. This work will be in preparation to install new gas lines to the future Norwood Hospital. At Wednesday night's school committee meeting, the topic of traveling school committee was heavily discussed. Committee member Teresa Stewart was concerned about the lack of hybrid meeting model for these meetings on the road.
I will say that if we're having the meeting, we will need to be in person. There is not the ability to do a hybrid situation.
So that's my thing. So life happens. We all know that. And I think almost everybody in this committee has had to be hybrid at one point for one reason or another, and all very legitimate reasons. And I completely support the traveling committee. We did it before. It's great. I want to do it again. But I do think we have to have a way to be hybrid.
Then we cannot have a traveling school committee meeting.
At none of these sites?
None of these sites, no.
We can't do it at the libraries of the Coakley and the high school?
No. So what I would suggest is we would start with the meeting. If we could not do it in person, then we would have to shift back to here and reschedule.
What we did prior to hybrid was if we didn't have a quorum, we had to cancel the meeting.
You wouldn't necessarily have to cancel, you would have to cancel the travel part of it. You could easily come back here.
Yeah, we'd also need to know in enough time because it's the meeting posting as well, right? We need 48 hours. So if it was a last minute, hi, talking to you from home, I think, yeah, I guess that we wouldn't have enough time to repost.
Right.
For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government Channel or watch on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news.
Norwood Community Media has its own video on-demand channels. You can go to our website, norwoodcommunitymedia.org, and click on whichever on-demand channel you are looking for, whether it be things to do in the community, events at the schools, or town government meetings. Once you click on one, you are going to be taken to a screen in which you can search for stories or videos you missed on TV or just want to watch again. Just click on the search bar on top of the page and start typing. Once you've found what you're looking for, just click in the middle of the video where the play button is and you are off enjoying one of the 3 on-demand channels NCM has to offer.
Grease is the word, is the word, is the word. Well, thank God you don't have to listen to me do this because our Norwood High School Drama Department is having a production of Grease that will be September 16th and 17th at 7 p.m. and September 18th at 2 p.m., all in the NHS Auditorium. Tickets at the door will be $10 for students and seniors and $15 for general admission. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.